chance and matter cannot give rise to intelligence, or cannot give rise to planning?
Well, actually, you're taking over the questioning, but
Right.
time is up anyway, so we'll just change sides, and you can start to you have 15 minutes to question. Right now it's 101, so you'll be able to question up until 116.
Sure. And let's just pick up from there. Would you tell me a little bit more about this assumption that law, chance, and matter cannot give rise to planning?
Okay. Remember, law has the structure all A or B, or
Well,
you've
I
already
disagree with that.
okay, but
I don't think it's the case.
you've admitted that it's also if P then Q, right?
Yes, yes. I would say that laws of physics are best described as a modus-ponens relationship.
Okay, so they can be in a modus ponens relationship, or they can be in an all A or B relationship.
Sure.
So if I want to build a staircase out of 100 identical bricks, I don't. I see no way that I can build that staircase unless I violate the modus ponens.
Explain.
Because modus ponens states if it's a brick, then the brick does this. Well, I have 100 bricks. I need to treat them all in a different fashion.
Why couldn't the modus ponens law say something like, if you pick up the brick, it will resist gravitationally? But I mean, I don't see any reason to construe a law of any law of physics to say anything so specific as, a brick is a brick is a brick. I'm not sure that I'm following your analogy here.
Well, of course, I believe the bricks are subject to the law of gravity, but the mind force needs to be able to override that law of gravity, just like the strong force overrides the gravitational force.
And would you say that the mind force overcomes gravity through pure magic, or by using things like muscles and skeletons whose materials are strong enough to defy gravity?
Well, when you use the word magic, it kind of has this. The word magic has developed this negative connotation. Basically, it goes like this: if it's magical, therefore it's wrong. I don't think that gravity is magic, but gravity, we don't understand it.
Sure.
But when the mind force, when the human mind force, yes, it has to fire certain synapses so that the muscles move and that the muscles pick up the bricks.
And tell me more about this firing.
Okay,
What particles does the mind force use to fire synapses?
well, it doesn't use. Okay, even if it does use particles, okay, because it looks like the strong force uses particles. I mean, I'm not an expert on the physics, but it looks like the strong force uses a gluon. Even if the mind force is using particles, it's
Mm-hmm.
still choosing to send the particles where it wants.
Okay, and what do you mean by choosing?
What I mean is, it's not subject to a law.
Okay, so there are no determining effects on your free choices.
No, my mind is who I am. I'm a free agent, and my mind is deciding what I'm doing.
Okay, but you said that there are no laws, there are no influences on your free choices whatsoever.
Oh, there are. Oh, sure, there are lots of influences.
Okay, so it does stand in that kind of relationship. So when you say that you choose something, you're not choosing from an infinite number of options, right?
No, I'm limited in my choices.
So what limits your choices?
Uh, Laws of physics for
Laws of
one.
physics,
Law,
interesting.
yeah,
So if so, your free choices, your decisions are constrained by the laws of physics.
absolutely.
So I would say then that let's suppose that your free will is a thing. We would say then on this that its motions are constrained by the laws of physics.
Yes.
And as we talked about in my first 15 minutes, you generally the minds that you are aware of, they're radically located in time and space. They seem to persist.
No, they're not located in space.
Okay, so when you talk to somebody's mind, like say that you're at the restaurant and you're ordering a meal from the waiter, would you say that waiter's mind is everywhere, nowhere, or localized around the waiter?
Okay, the mind is not located in three-dimensional space, but
But
it
okay, go ahead.
but it is constrained to only have hegemony over the neurons in that waiter's brain.
Okay, so it seems to me that what we have is a mind that obeys the laws of physics.
No,
That is
not obeys, but is constrained by them. It can override.
same difference
Yeah.
for
Okay.
my purposes here. So again, I would say that so what we have is a mind that is is constrained by the laws of physics. That it appears to map to neurons in the brain to be localized in physical places. So would you say, in your experience, that that minds appear to begin and to cease? For example, that your mind begins sometime around when you were either born or conceived.
I would, yeah, I would say that well, I really don't know. I don't know.
Right, but what would you say is a good description? Would you say that it's a fair construction of your mind to say of it that that it began to exist around the time that you were born or conceived?
It would be fair to say that. It would also be fair to say that um, before I was born, it was too ignorant to even make an impact on the world. Something like that. Yeah.
It was too ignorant, but it existed prior to your conception.
Maybe. I really don't know.
Okay, just to recap, what it seems that we have here is we have a mind that is radically localized in space, that at least its origins are localized in time.
Well, it's not.
Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I just want to clarify. When you say localized in space, it's limited to a space, but it's not really
Sure.
in that space.
Okay, sure. So it's limited to a space that it adheres to physical neurons. That it appears to have. It only begins to influence the universe at a specific time. It appears to have a beginning in time. And as we talked about in the first 15 minutes, that it appears that the primary way of interacting with it is through physical events, through speaking, sneezing, hearing, that kind of thing. So, given that we have this mind that appears to be so much like physical objects in every other way, and that the only thing remaining is that you personally are not you. I mean, as or sort of as an argument that you raised when you were questioning last was that I was inferring something from my own lack of imagination. It seems that what we have here is a failure of imagination on your part regarding how to fill in that last final step in our discussion of this mind thing, which says that intentionality is a physical process that matter can plan for things. And it seems like we actually have a large amount of evidence, of empirical evidence for that, because we've located brain structures that went
Well,
damaged.
hold on. You're supposed to be asking questions.
Right. This is coming to a question.
All right.
It seems that we have a large body of empirical evidence suggesting that the parts of your brain that are responsible for planning and for volition, these are footnotes 14 through 17 and 21 on my written commentary, that these things are themselves dependent upon very specific physical structures. So, given all of that, what is the difference between your position and mine?
The difference between, well, I admit that, our positions are not all that different. I was hoping to be debating someone that kind of thought along Daniel Dennett's lines.
Okay.
But what I am saying is that this only planning is only due to the mind force. If there were no mind force, there would be no planning. And this mind force, although it needs physical objects in order to even make an impact on the physical world, okay, it's not physical. And if you admit, I don't understand why you attribute for instance, well, I realize that you don't admit that the Big Bang is the result of planning, but when we see holism, when we see knowledge of properties, we see it takes a lot of matter to be arranged in a certain way in order to get a human being such that it can reproduce. This is holism. Now you need knowledge of those properties, and this knowledge cannot be located in a carbon atom, or it cannot be located in a nitrogen atom. It has to be in a non three-dimensional space. So what I don't understand is, if you admit that intelligence is located in a non three-dimensional space, then why can't you admit that this intelligence also influenced the formation of the Earth, the Big Bang, origins of life, that sort of thing?
So, do you believe in a disembodied God?
Of course, yes.
So, but even though if I understand what you said a couple of minutes